Yo, what is going on YouTube? It is your boy GZTV, and it is the end of the regular season. And you know that what that means? A lot of playoff implications. So yeah, I'm just gonna go through every last playoff implication from this week. And yeah, all I know is the Packers are going to the playoffs, baby. I'm super happy. All the games are done for the week. There's no Monday night game. This is the first recap back in the room, and obviously this weekend the wild card is coming up. So after the wild card weekend, we will also talk about those games. So that should be really exciting. So let's just get into all the games. First, let's talk about the Saturday games. And the Saturday games started with the Steelers and the Ravens game. Steelers beat the Lamar Jackson-less Ravens by 7. They would have made the playoff, or if Buffalo or Jacksonville lost, and I think Jacksonville lost, so they are in the playoffs. So Cameron Hayward figures the Pittsburgh Steelers can make some noise in the playoffs. You know, they've had kind of an underrated season. It's crazy. They're 10-7 this year. Mike Tomlin, year in and year out, just finds a way. Deontay Johnson had a huge touchdown. Isaiah Likely had a crazy touchdown. Tyler Huntley couldn't find his helmet and cost them a delay of game. That was funny. Gus Edwards, you know, he turned the ball over a couple times, and obviously the big thing about this game is the TJ Watt injury. That's super concerning going into the playoffs. But yeah, hopefully he's okay. Maybe he can come back with limited snaps for the playoffs. I'm not sure. But Mason Rudolph, 18 for 20 with a touchdown, and Tyler Huntley, 15 for 28 for a touchdown. So not bad, not great out of the quarterbacks. This wasn't a super offensive game. I mean, Najee Harris had a touchdown. You get Deontay Johnson with 4 catches for 89 yards and a touchdown, but there really wasn't much on the Ravens side, and I think that's why they lost. I think just Tyler Huntley's completion percentage and the fact that he got a passing touchdown is the only thing I care to talk about on their offense. There's not much here, but Jacksonville lost, so obviously the Steelers went to the playoffs, so that's cool to hear for their fans. Texans and Colts, man, I really like how this game ended because there's one rookie this year that has my bad, guys. I forgot to put the pictures up, so I just kind of stopped the recording. But there's one guy that has impressed as a rookie more than anyone else, I think, in the whole league, and that is C.J. Stroud. And yeah, Texans wrap up a playoff spot with a 4-point victory over the Colts. Rookie quarterback C.J. Stroud made all the right calls in the biggest game of his NFL career to help the Houston Texans secure a playoff spot in the first time since Deshaun Watson has been a quarterback there. Yeah, crucial fourth down drop for the Colts. I'm not sure what they were thinking by not having Jonathan Taylor in the game. But yeah, CJ Stroud and Nico Collins straight out the gate, 75-yard touchdown. I mean, this team is electric. They have so many young players, so much energy. It's really fun to watch. Devin Singletary scored a go-ahead touchdown. Um, yeah, Nico Collins, man, one of the best receivers. Like, I wouldn't say one of the best receivers in the entire league, but one of the best, at least young receivers. But another big injury in this game was Jonathan Taylor, so maybe that's why they sat him out. But he was able to come back and play some snaps. So I don't know why, with your season on the line, you couldn't have just gave him one last nod. I don't know. But C.J. Stroud, 20 for 26, 264 yards with 2 touchdowns. He was absolutely magnificent. Not a terrible game for Gardner Minshew, 13 for 24, 141 yards. Jonathan Taylor, though, carried the day for the Colts, and they still couldn't get it done. The man had 30 carries, 188 yards, and a touchdown. Devin Singletary obviously got in the end zone. Nico Collins, another insane game. 9 catches, 195 yards, and a touchdown. And obviously, Josh Downs continues to be somewhat consistent, somewhat decent for the Colts, going 3 for 48. Colts fans have got to be pissed at this. Like, wow. What a way to fumble the season, man. But I'm really happy for CJ Stroud. I feel like the level he was playing at and the level that this team has played at the entire season, they kind of deserved a playoff spot. So yeah, shout out to them. Next, we're going to get into Sunday in the first game. I always talk about my team first, so let's just get this Packers-Bears game out of the way because, man, I'm pretty happy. Obviously, I know that we have a tough challenge with the Cowboys coming up this weekend, but I'm happy to say that in a rebuild phase, in a rebuild year, we were able to make the playoffs against a lot of odds. But yeah, Jordan Love comes through as the Packers beat the Bears by 8 to clinch a playoff berth. Jordan Love accomplished something in his first season as a starting quarterback that his 4-time MVP predecessor failed to achieve last year. So to come through here, first year as a starter and to make the playoffs, that's a huge, huge thing. And obviously Jordan Love and Dontavian Wicks were connecting all game. Yeah, Bo Melton, he couldn't haul that catch in, and if he did, I firmly believe we would have won quite more comfortably. But obviously Jordan Love had a fumble that was kind of unfortunate, and There was a lot of heated moments. This is a division rivalry. It's just kind of part of it. Yeah. Jordan Love played amazing. Good throw after good throw. I mean, the man threw 27 for 32, 316 yards, 2 touchdowns. Awesome stuff. He played amazing. Probably the best game in his career when we needed it. And, looking at Justin Fields, credit to him for, what he's given. I mean, 11 for 16, 148 yards really isn't that bad. And obviously, their terrible offensive coordinator. Fire Luke Getsky right now. I mean, I'm not even a Bears fan, and I'm saying that, but Aaron Jones continuing to improve since his injury and continuing to give us great games. 22 carries, 111 yards was great. DJ Moore went for 4 catches for 64, and you get Jalen Reed, a young upcoming star for the Green Bay Packers, going 4 catches for 112 yards. So yeah, I'm really proud of our young guys. We've really built a core, and I'm not hyped for the playoffs, but it'll be interesting to see how we fare against the Cowboys. Next up, we have a pretty poverty game, but it's the Buccaneers and the Panthers. Buccaneers clinched the NFC South title with a 9-point win over the Panthers. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are headed to the playoffs for the 4th straight season, and they have their defense to thank for this game, and pretty much for the entire season. Yeah. Obviously a pretty shitty division, but hey, they won. That's all that matters. Bryce Young had some turnovers. Matthew Wright missed some field goal or two. Obviously, Baker Mayfield took a couple hits. This was a tough, gritty game for him to be in. But, DJ Chark almost had a touchdown. Just so unlucky. The Panthers really got unlucky this game. He had one of those touchback situations that we saw out of Jay Jettas earlier in the season. But Baker Mayfield threw 20 for 32. Bryce Young threw 11 for 18. Nothing too impressive, honestly. I mean, DJ Chark had 2 catches for 46 yards, but that's really about it. I don't really care to talk about this game that much. It's really not worth my time. Shout out to the Bucs for getting the division, but it's not that huge of an accomplishment. Next, we got the Browns and the Bengals game. So with the Browns resting their starters for the playoffs, this motivated the Bengals to win by 17 and at least finish above 500. That's a really big signifier in sports when you can at least have a winning season. It tells you something. With a mostly meaningful loss of the Bengals in the books, the Browns could turn their attention to preparing for their first playoff game in 3 years, and I'm so excited to watch Joe Flacco in the playoffs because he has shined this year in so many games. Joe Mixon got a second touchdown of the game, got him $100,000 of incentive money apparently. David Bell had a nice touchdown for the Browns, and Andre Iosivas got some touchdowns. Jeff Driscoll got picked off. But it is whatever. I mean, they had to. Again, Driscoll came out there 13 for 26, 166 yards, 2 touchdowns. He did throw 2 picks. I mean, how can you... I don't know. How can you not... How do you... I don't know. Jeff Driscoll, I don't know. He had 2 picks, but... Jake Browning, 18 for 24. He threw for 3 touchdowns. He threw a pick, but I don't know. This game doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. But Joe Mixon ended up 14 carries, 111 yards, and a touchdown. He played really good. Yeah, Bell had 4 catches, 68 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And this Charlie Jones guy for the Bengals, I don't know who that is, but I mean, 3 catches for 49 is solid for someone I've literally never heard of. So I guess it's a cool win for the Bengals, but they're out of the playoffs, so it's not great for them. Hopefully Joe Burrow comes back next year and they're rejuvenated, but I don't know. Getting into our own division rivalry, Vikings-Lions, this one didn't really matter either. But, I mean, the playoff-bound Lions lose a record-breaking rookie, Sam Laporta, to a knee injury, which is unfortunate. But they got the 10-point win over the Vikings. See, this is why you rest people. When you win a division title, it really doesn't matter 1 through 4 where you're ranked, because most likely, I mean, you're going to be playing you're going to be playing a wild card team. So, at the end of the day, there's no point of playing any sort of starters if you've clinched a division. But Detroit Lions coach Dan Campbell was determined to close the regular season with a win, taking the risk of getting players hurt in hopes of moving from the number 3 to the number 2 seed in the NFC. And that just didn't go well for him. I mean, moving up from 3 to 2, I would understand 4 to 3, but 3 to 2 is what are you doing, man? What are you doing? I don't know. It's weird. It's really weird. Obviously, Amon-Ra St. Brown was going crazy this game. Justin Jefferson had a couple great things. And now that the Vikings are officially in their offseason, I think it's... What the fuck? Now it's officially time to, think about what's going to happen to Justin Jefferson. Because he is not staying in Minnesota, and I don't think he should. But yeah, Sam Laporta, hopefully he's back next week, or at least on a snap restriction, because guys like him, guys like TJ Watt, are going to be really important come playoff time for some of these teams. Aiden Hutchinson had 2 sacks. Jahmyr Gibbs was going to get in the end zone either way. Great running game for the Lions. I mean, overall, their offense is great. Jared Goff comes out there 23 for 32, 320 yards, 2 touchdowns. David Montgomery gets in the end zone. You get Amon-Ra St. Brown going for 7 catches, 144 yards, and a touchdown. I mean, Nick Mullins didn't play horrible. 30 for 44, 396 yards, 2 touchdowns, but he had 2 picks. And in a game as close as this, it was definitely costly. Ty Chandler had 12 carries for 69 yards, while Jay Jetta's monster game, 12 catches, 192 yards, and a touchdown. Lions weren't too concerned about him. As long as they could stop some other guys, they were going to be fine. Jets and the Patriots is the next game I'm going to talk about. This one had 0 implications, but Bill Belichick loses in a possible finale as the Patriots coach. The Jets snap a 15-game losing streak versus New England, so I guess there were some cool moments there. Bill Belichick says he put everything he had into the season and still enjoys coaching. Are you sure you put everything you had? I mean, 4-13. I mean, their roster's not great, but, it's not horrible. I don't know. Breece Hall is playing really good, though. Yeah, Belichick exited the field with really no emotion or anything, but it is what it is. There's a lot of shaky moments this game. There was a lot of heated stuff. This was a division rivalry. Not that this game mattered, but yeah, Greg Zuerlein in the snow hit a field goal, which was pretty sick. Bryce Huff had a sack. The 9th sack was the team leading. Yeah, these just aren't good teams. I mean, Trevor Siemian played like trash. Bailey Zappi played like trash and had 2 picks. This was a garbage game. Did anyone have a good game? I mean, I guess Breece Hall played pretty good. He had a touchdown, and you get Garrett Wilson going 2 catches for 34. You get Jalen Reagor getting a 33-yard reception, but that's really it. There's nothing special about this game. These 2 teams are garbage. They're horrible. Jets going 7-10, that's like a overstay. That's better than what they should have finished. They suck, man. I don't know. Next, we have Falcons and Saints, and probably one of the biggest displays of, a sore loser and being a shitty sport was in this. But Derek Carr passes for 4 touchdowns. But the Saints beat the Falcons but missed the playoffs when the Packers won the game. Sorry, Saints fans. I didn't want to do that to you, but you kind of deserved to not make the playoffs. You've been booed by your own fucking fans, their players. But Derek Carr and the New Orleans Saints offense produced when they had to. And even when they didn't. Yeah, they piled it on the Falcons. They didn't give a shit. They wanted this to be a statement win. Arthur Smith got really mad with Dennis Allen, but go fucking cry about it because now you don't have a job. It actually came out that he got fired, and he fucking deserves to. 7-10. I don't know. The Falcons aren't a great team, but 7-10 seems a little low. I don't know. Rashid Shaheed had a huge catch. Olave had some great catches. Great games. Bijan Robinson played amazing. That's all that really matters. But, yeah, Desmond Ridder, 22 for 30, 291 yards, 2 touchdowns. He did throw a pick, though. And, a game where Derek Carr was looking amazing. You don't really want to do that to throw off the momentum. But, yeah, man, Derek Carr, 22 for 28, 264 yards, and 4 touchdowns. This was looking like some prime Derek Carr here. He had some really good moments in Oakland, and this was kind of looking like that. But this Miller guy, I don't know who this guy is for the Saints, but he had 13 carries, 73 yards, and a touchdown. Bijan Robinson, great game, 7 catches, 103 yards, and a touchdown. While Rashid Shaheed had 3 catches, 65 yards, and a touchdown. So a pretty solid game offensively. Obviously more for one team than the other. But, hey, just don't be a sore loser, guys. That's all I got to say. Next, we have the Jaguars and the Titans game, and this was a more important team for a lot of other teams than it was for any other game. This was one of the most important games for playoff implications. But Trevor Lawrence was stopped short of the goal line as the Jags were eliminated from the playoff race in an 8-point loss to the Titans. Trevor Lawrence called his own number in 4th and goal at the 1, stretched the ball out with the right arm, and had him questionable for the game as the Jacksonville Jaguars had to win to reach the playoffs. But the refs, he overthrew people on 4th down. All this stuff happened. I don't know. It just all kind of crumbled down for the Jags. They were looking okay this game, but then when it came down to crunch time and for them to go down and win the game, I don't know. Yeah, Titans stuffed them. They played really good. They got back in the game. But yeah, DeAndre Hopkins got a touchdown. Shout out to him. Tyjae Spears had some touchdowns, so that's really dope to see. But Trevor Lawrence, 29 for 43. He threw for 2 touchdowns, but he had 2 interceptions as well. And Ryan Tannehill didn't play too bad. I mean, 17 for 26. He threw for 2 touchdowns. He threw a pick. I don't really know what to say of it. Derrick Henry had an insane game. He wanted to ruin it for the Jags here. 19 carries, 153 yards, and a touchdown. Calvin Ridley had a really good game for the Jags, though. 6 catches, 106 yards, and a touchdown. You get DeAndre Hopkins getting in the end zone, obviously. So, some pretty decent offense. Jaguars just simply fell short. And I think last year they choked in the playoffs. Or no. Was it a couple years ago where they had a comeback, or did they choke? I don't remember. Let me know in the comments. My memory is like hazy from I don't know what. But yeah, let's get into the next game. Next we have the Seahawks and the Cardinals. This game didn't matter at the end of the day, but the Seahawks, I guess they had to win this to even stay in contention. But Seahawks rallied for a 1-point win over the Cardinals, but they still missed out on the playoffs after the Packers won. We ruined chances. Again, sorry Seahawks fans. I didn't want this to end out for you. I like Geno Smith. I like what you guys got going on your offense. But yeah, cornerback Quandre Diggs and the Seahawks weren't exactly sure how to act in the minutes following their come-from-behind victory Sunday. The emotions came in waves, sometimes proud, oftentimes dejected. It's like, yeah, we won the game, but the Packers were looking good too out there. So, like, yeah. Cardinals tried to win the game on a field goal, and they missed, so that was crazy. Geno Smith hit Lockett for a touchdown, and then a 2-point conversion, so those two had something. Cardinals had like a fake field goal. I mean, when Trey McBride's out in the field, shouldn't you know, like, okay, they might do something here? I don't know. James Conner had one of the slowest touchdowns of the entire season. But Geno Smith, 16 for 28, 189 yards, 2 touchdowns. Not a terrible game. Yeah, I mean, I would say Kyler Murray outplayed him, going 22 for 30, throwing 262 yards and a touchdown. And James Conner had a hell of a game, 27 carries, 150 yards and a touchdown, and all that stuff. But I don't know. What can you do? Tyler Lockett had 2 catches, 71 yards and a touchdown, and Michael Wilson, who's going to be a pretty huge part of like the rebuild for the Cardinals. He's a really dope receiver. He had 6 catches for 95 yards. I picked him up in fantasy a couple of times this year, but they have a pretty solid receiver group. If they can pick something else up, they might look pretty decent. But obviously, they ended the season 4-13. That's not great, but there's still some things to come, I would say. Getting into Chiefs and Chargers, a pretty poverty game, and I feel like the Chiefs. I will probably, now that I think about it, do a playoff prediction like right before this weekend's games. I'll probably do it on like Friday or something and release like the Kid Cudi video over the weekend. But yeah, I don't know. I have a lot of things to talk about. Maybe sometime this week I will try to do something. Maybe we'll skip out on The Sopranos for a weekend or do something. I don't know what the hell is going to happen. But Mike Edwards' scoop and score and Harrison Butker's field goals propelled the Chiefs past the Chargers by 1. I mean, Blaine Gabbert was out there. I mean, he showed he's ready to step in for the Kansas City Chiefs. Should something happen to Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs, and I don't want to jinx anything because that's the last thing they need is any bad luck coming their way. They've had a rough season, honestly. I mean, Harrison Butker, game-winning field goal. Chris Jones had the sack incentive, $1.25 million. That's a couple of things you can talk about at the end of the season. No incentive money. Alohi Gilman had a pick on Blaine Gabbert. A little scoop and score from Mike Edwards, of course. Yeah, I mean, Blaine Gabbert didn't play horrible, but didn't play great. 15 for 30, 154 yards, but he threw an interception. Going against Easton Stick, who threw 28 for 47. And also had 13 carries for 77 yards, so not really bad for him either. Mecole Hardman had 6 catches for 77, while Donald Parham, the Madden Ultimate Team GOAT, had 5 catches for 83. So that's pretty dope. Yeah, poverty game, of course. I didn't really care to watch this. Getting into the Raiders and the Broncos game next. Aiden O'Connell and who was it? I don't know. Zamir White, I guess, played pretty good. They in the pass rush lead the Raiders to a 13-point win over the Broncos in a season finale, and honestly, finishing 8-9 is not bad for the Raiders. The AP chant began with a minute and a second left. Raiders fans joining the players and making known their preference that Antonio Pierce goes from interim to full-time coach. I mean, he was the interim this year, but he had a pretty good season. 8-9 isn't that bad for what they were given, yeah, Jacoby Myers had a couple touchdowns. Devontae Adams played pretty damn good too. Javonte Williams went into the end zone. Jerry Jeudy got a touchdown. Yeah, a lot of dope stuff here. Pretty good game offensively. Jarrett Stidham, 20 for 34, 272 yards, a touchdown. He did throw a pick, and I mean, honestly, going against Aiden O'Connell right now, you can't really do that. Aiden O'Connell played really good, and Jarrett Stidham was actually on the Raiders at a point, I believe. But O'Connell, 20 for 31, 244 yards, 2 touchdowns. He played an insanely good game. Javonte Williams got in the end zone. You know, you got Johnson from the Broncos going 4 catches for 88. You got Trey Tucker going 5 catches for 79. So, pretty solid stuff going there. So, not much to say. This game doesn't really matter at all in a sense. So, let's just move on. Next, getting into Eagles and Giants. I don't care how many injuries the Eagles had going into this game. This is not a game you should lose at all, especially by 17 points. Eagles complete the late season collapse. They finish 1-5 on a stretch with a 17-point loss to the damn New York Giants, a team that is 6-11. Dude, Jalen Hurts' dangling, contorted finger needed a quick fix. As Hurts waited on the sideline for a tape job, he casually, innocently extended his middle finger. Nothing was happening. Marcus Mariota took over. If you know, you know. Xavier McKinney had a nice interception for the Giants. Tyrod Taylor, though. Tyrod Taylor's pretty nice. Like, the Giants might have to give him another chance. I know Tommy Cutlets, Tommy DeVito, whatever you want to call him, had a couple of good moments this year. But the Giants might have to give Tyrod Taylor a chance here. He was playing really good. Saquon Barkley was playing good. Yeah, Jalen Hurts obviously hurt his finger, and that's another injury going into the playoffs that I hope the Eagles can probably recover from so we can at least have some good football. I'm not a huge Eagles fan at all, but actually the opposite. But seeing him hurt in the playoff game is just not good for football, but it is what it is. I mean, Marcus Mariota, 13 for 20, 148 yards. He threw for a touchdown, but he also had a pick. Tyrod Taylor played pretty good, 23 for 32, 297 yards. He threw for a touchdown. He also threw a pick, and Kenneth Gainwell played pretty decent for the Eagles, 7 carries for 62 yards. Obviously, DeAndre Swift was another guy that they were missing, but they have a guy that they can count on, like Kenneth Gainwell. And in terms of receivers, you know, no Devontae Smith, no A.J. Brown, but Quez Watkins was still able to pick up 8 catches, 93 yards, and a touchdown. They still have some guys they can rely on. Saquon Barkley got in the end zone twice. Wan'Dale Robinson had 5 catches for 85. He's a really young receiver that I think the Giants can kind of lean on in their rebuild phase. So, yeah, pretty good stuff there. Next, we have the Rams and 49ers, and man, the Niners just couldn't clutch it up for us. I really wanted to play the Lions because the Cowboys seem like a way steeper task than playing the Rams. I would rather play the Lions than the Cowboys, sorry. But, yeah, Carson Wentz leads the Rams to the NFC's 6th seed with a 1-point win over the Niners. Carson Wentz did his job filling in for Matthew Stafford, and now Stafford gets the chance for a highly anticipated playoff matchup against his former team. Yeah, at the same time I saw this, I was like, yeah, this is good for football. It's a really cool storyline, really cool implications with this game. Puka Nacua celebrated with his mom after breaking the rookie records. And yeah, great season for Puka Nacua. Way to end it here. Rams strip sack Sam Darnold to seal that win. Carson Wentz had a touchdown run and a two-point conversion pass, so he was really the hero of this game. He played really good. Sam Darnold hit Ronnie Bell for a touchdown. Sam Darnold also didn't play that bad either. I mean, he threw 16 for 26, 189 yards and a touchdown. Not much there. Carson Wentz, 17 for 24. He threw for 2 touchdowns. He did throw a pick, but he also had a rush touchdown, so he played pretty solid. Elijah Mitchell came out and had a touchdown. Chris Conley had 3 catches for 69, while Bryson Hopkins, not sure who you are, but 2 catches for 47 yards. That's not bad. So, yeah, only a couple games to talk about. Let's get into them as well. Next, we have Cowboys and Commanders, and yeah, the Eagles kind of deserve to lose the division, not lose the division, but not get first. But after this terrible slump they've been on, they kind of deserve to not win it. But Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys win the NFC East by beating the Commanders by 28 points. After Dak Prescott connected with CeeDee Lamb on a touchdown pass late in the first half Sunday to help the Dallas Cowboys clinch the NFC East, I mean, they were looking good. They were celebrating. It was great. It was a really triumphant performance for Dak and really added to his MVP case. 4 touchdown performance, just poured it on, played amazing. Darren Bland, league-leading ninth interception of the season, played great. The Cowboys will never fail to have a solid quarterback and a solid DB. It's been like that every single year of their franchise. Obviously, when it comes to the playoffs, it's a different story. I mean, this year, people are like, oh, they have an easy schedule. Which, yeah, I understand that. But, like, given the history of the Cowboys, we'll see. Yeah, Dak Prescott played amazing, though, no doubt. Him and CeeDee Lamb were going crazy all game long. Dak Prescott, 31 for 36. He threw for 4 touchdowns. He had a pick, but, I mean, he's going against a struggling Sam Howell, who threw 19 for 27, had a touchdown, and had 2 picks. Tony Pollard had a touchdown. CeeDee Lamb had two touchdowns, and that's really about it for this game. Nothing too eventful, but obviously the Cowboys won their division in pretty dominant fashion, so that's pretty cool as well. Getting into the final game of the week, the Sunday Night Football game from last night. I didn't watch much of it because I really wanted to watch the Lakers-Clippers. But Josh Allen rallies the Bills for a 7-point win over the Dolphins. Buffalo secures the number 2 seed in the AFC as well as that division. So they went from possibly getting eliminated from the playoffs to their best-case scenario, which is winning their division and getting second in the AFC, which is huge. Josh Allen walked towards the thousands of Bills fans who made their way to South Florida for the weekend, waving his arms as they showered him with post-game cheers. Obviously a huge game, one of the biggest games of the year for the Buffalo Bills. Yeah, the Dolphins really choked. I mean, I don't know. They were kind of a slumping team. They were in a similar spot. They're like the Eagles of the AFC. Like, that's a perfect way to put it. It's not like they started as dominant as the Eagles, but yeah. Dawson Knox had the go-ahead touchdown for the Bills. Yeah, obviously Bills picked off Tua late in the game. That's no fucking surprise. Tua is not really that clutch of a quarterback. Deontay Hardy had a huge punt return TD. Christian Wilkins had a strip sack. 3 turnovers in the game for Josh Allen, but he makes ugly games look good for him. Tyreek Hill celebrates the touchdown with the cartwheel into a backflip. Josh Allen, though, 30 for 38, 359 yards, 2 touchdowns. He did throw 2 picks, but, I mean, very lackluster performance for Tua. 17 for 27, 173 yards and a touchdown, and he threw 2 picks as well. A great game for Devin Achane. I mean, 10 carries for 56 and a touchdown. Tyreek Hill, 7 catches, 82 yards and a touchdown. He didn't really break any records, but he got up there. He had a really good season, obviously the best season of his career. Shakur, man, 6 catches, 105 yards. He came in clutch. He came in huge for the team. I don't really have much to say. I kind of have to get to the outro and kind of get out of here. I have to hit some cardio before my next class. So, yeah, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. As always, it has been GZTV, giving you guys some NFL content for the week. I do a little bit of everything on this channel. So, yeah, peace out.